Hey, co-reporters, welcome back to my channel. Listen, Kailyn Lowry is officially issuing a public apology to her boyfriend, Elijah, because she made it seem in the last episode of Baby Mama's No Dramas that she was single and looking for a man with the financial capacity to take care of herself and her gaggle of children. Here's the thing, it wasn't just Kail who made it seem that way, but V, her co-host, did the same thing. She was like, Kail, you need like this type of man, that type of man. That is not something you tell to your friend, right? Like even when you know your friend is settling with like someone who cannot keep up financially and they want more, like you keep it to yourself because you know that they're in a relationship, right? So all of that obviously led to a lot of people concluding that things are not looking too good for Kail and Elijah. There might have been a breakup. A lot of magazines wrote in to Kail's publicist asking for commentary on this. And so that's why she decided to issue a public apology on her podcast. Mind you, if you are a channel member of mine, you remember the conversation that we did last week when the podcast episode came out. If you're not, make sure to hit youtube.com/grace/join to join us on exclusive conversations like that. So really, it did seem like she was single. Like we was talking about, oh, you need this kind of man, that kind of man. The podcast guest who was like some kind of a relationship expert for social media also was along that lines. He even said at the end of the episode, Kail, I know you'll find someone kind of thing. And so, what other logical conclusion can a person come to when comments like this are flying around? Right. And this person is supposed to have been in a relationship for the past kind of year and a half or however long it takes to make a baby. So Kail says that she and Elijah are working on some things in their relationship and that they are trying to save money for other things. So like, obviously he's not making as much money as she does as a former reality star, as an influencer and whatnot. And she wants him to save some money so that they can like make some of these other goals that they have together. And although Elijah is not able to contribute 50-50 or even majority financially in this relationship, he contributes in other ways, right? Like he cooks, he teaches the kids how to cook, he does the yard work, and other things like that. So she does feel like there is a sort of equality in there with that sort of thing being considered. He also did take her out the other day and he paid for it himself. So she really wanted to make sure that that was out there about their relationship. She also does say that this is the healthiest relationship that she's ever been in. So there you go. Her podcast co-host V kind of pissed me off a little bit. She was acting really like incredulous to the fact that like people came to the conclusion that Kail was single based on the stuff that Kail and V herself were saying on the podcast. She's like, and it's so crazy to me, Kail, that you even have to justify yourself. Like it's nobody's business. V, no one told you or Kail to go on the internet and start podcasting about your relationships. No one asked these questions. You guys had this conversation on an open forum, and that's why people are even talking about this relationship. It's not some private secret thing. This is something that you guys discuss for content, okay? So obviously, when you put this sort of information out there, people are going to discuss it and people are going to have questions about it. Like sometimes I wonder if she talks just to talk or if she really is like just not getting it. If these things are sort of going over her head or something like that. Like it really kind of irritated me. Like, I don't like furrowing my brows because I don't want to get into Botox and stuff, right? So I keep them pretty neutral. But that I had to hit her with what the hell is wrong with you, girl? Like, what are you talking about? Anyway, listen, let's move on to the next topic of this week's episode of Baby Mama's No Dramas, which is how Kail had her kids apologize to her in a group text message because they did not treat her birthday with respect. Okay, but that conversation is only for my channel members. So if you want to join in on that, make sure to hit youtube.com/gracereport/join. And in the meantime, by the way, or if you haven't, or if you're not able to, make sure just let me know your thoughts on this Kail and Elijah situation. Like, did she owe him a public apology? Why didn't she stick up for him or even like claim him that she was in a relationship with him in the last episode of Baby Mama's No Dramas? The whole podcast episode was incredibly awkward, but I digress. And what do you think about V claiming that it's ridiculous that Kail even has to clarify things about the relationship that she put out there her damn self? Let me know all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. And as usual, we'll chat.